Annie, were you? Annie ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കോ. അപ്പൊ ഇത് സെറ്റ് ചെയ്തോളൂ കേട്ടോ. അപ്പൊ ഓൾറെഡി നമ്മൾ വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാണ്. 15 പേര് വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാണ്. അല്ല, ആനിക്ക് അവിടെ ഇരിക്കണം. അവിടെ വയ്ക്കണം. ജയശ്രീ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തോ? ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്തോളൂ. അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ അഡ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. അപ്പൊ വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. നേരെ അത് അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചോളൂ. ജയശ്രീ എന്ത് പേരിലാണ് കയറിയിരിക്കുന്നത്? ഇതില് എന്റെ ജയശ്രീയുടെ പേര് കാണുന്നില്ല. ജയശ്രീ എസ് കുമാർ ആണോ? അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ അഡ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാണ്. കയറിക്കോളൂ. ആനി വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ആനി അഡ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാണ്. ജയശ്രീ കേൾക്കാമോ? ജയശ്രീ Jayashree, you can start with the welcome.
Okay. Namaste. On behalf of the Secretary, Thittamangalam Vanitha Samiti, I welcome all the members present here for the webinar. Today's topic is Recalling a Legacy. Srimati Annie Mascarene, Member of Constituent Assembly by Advocate Annie Mascarene. She was an Indian freedom fighter who was born at Trivandrum, which is an honor for us. She was one of the first women to join the Travancore State Congress. Srimati Annie Mascarene was in Kerala state government service before joining Navodaya Vidyalaya. She worked in different parts of the country, including Kashmir and Lakshadweep, before retiring from the service. Then she enrolled as an advocate and has been practicing in Trivandrum, mainly taking up the cause of poor and downtrodden women. We are happy that we could get a member of the Mascarene family to tell us about the great leader. A very warm welcome to you, Madam Annie Mascarene.
Shall we start her talk?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay. Annie, now you can start.
Namaste and hearty welcome to one and all.
Kekamaya. 1 minute. Annie.
Audio എനിക്ക് ഇതെല്ലാം വിളി ചെയ്തേ മോള് ചെയ്ത്
Annie, unmute ആണല്ലോ. പറഞ്ഞു നോക്കൂ.
Namaste and
Can you see the speaker now? Annie, yes, we can see you. You can start.
Namaste and hearty welcome to one and all.
അല്ല ഓഡിയോ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ലല്ലോ.
വീഡിയോ ഓൺ ചെയ്യട്ടോ.
ഓഡിയോ ഓൺ ആവുന്നില്ല കേട്ടോ. എന്താ വോളിയം കൂട്ടണം.
ഓഡിയോയുടെ കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞ് കാണിച്ചു തരണം.
ഇന്റർനെറ്റ് ഇത് കാണിക്കണം. ഒന്നും കൂടെ കണക്ട് ചെയ്തോളൂ. I'm sorry for the disruption. We'll start just in a while. മൈക്രോഫോൺ കാണിക്കുന്നില്ല അതിൽ കേട്ടോ. എന്താണ് ജോസാനല്ല ഇത് ചെയ്തു തരും. അതാണ് കുഴപ്പം.
Namaste and hearty welcome to one and all. As an introduction, may I introduce myself. I am Advocate Annie Mascarene. I am Advocate Annie Mascarene Jr., daughter of late Mr. Joseph Mascarene, eldest brother of Miss Annie Mascarene. She stayed with him and his family all through her life.
The house in the room she occupied and served
with a few of her belongings as a homage to her memory by her family members. I am fortunate to be with her at Delhi during 1955-57 when I was there along with my father who always accompanied her.
Mascarene, Kumari Annie.
Travancore, Kochi. India has a not-big number of
valiant, versatile women who have devoted their lives to the
cause of public service, for it demands a great sacrifice and trouble on the part of the women in particular, but one often comes across Indian women, few of course, who have really done wonders and have made men envious of their abilities. Kumari Annie Mascarene from Travancore, Cochin is one of them. These are the words from the book Opposition in Parliament. Edited by Harish Sharan Napra. Annie Mascarene's life span was 1902 to 1963. Annie's parents, Mariam Mascarene and Gabriel Mascarene, belonged originally to the place now called Kurshimala, Ernakulam. They hailed from Tadikal Parambil House, one of the oldest families in Kochi. They practiced their family business of timber sales, for which Gabriel was to come to Kollam and other places where waterways are available for food transportation from Kochi to Kollam for the southern side of their place. Gabriel Mascarene was in contact with the Maharaja of Travancore at that time, and His Highness was very much impressed by the contractor for his wisdom in calculating wood volumes, even though not an educated scholar. In turn, Gabriel was appointed as the Fedar of the Kaudiyar Palace at Travancore and was allotted a place for himself and his family stay at the Parthikkunnu area where one Mr. Cotton, a British officer, stayed. The place is now named Cotton Hill, where the present government girls' high school Cotton Hill is located. This is during the period somewhere around 1885 to 1900. Mariam Gabriel couple had 6 children, 3 daughters and 3 sons. Annie, also called at home by the pet name Annamma, being the 4th child of the family. Mary, Joseph Mascarene, John Mascarene were elder to her, while Philip Mascarene and Josephine Mascarene younger to her. While Gabriel was working at the palace, Mariam also got a post of nurse, popularly known at that time as Kuruvutugari, in the medical field. She was almost a terror to the school children as and when she visited schools to give vaccination of immunization to all school children. Annie's parents, though illiterate, took keen interest in the studies of their children. Annie's parents sent her to the English medium school, Sunnymaid School, near present Government Sanskrit College, Trivandrum, with her 2 elder brothers, Joseph Mascarene and John Mascarene, accompanied by her younger sister, Josephine Mascarene. The school was at about 800 meters, a furlong from her house at Valdekyat, near the present Annie Mascarene Square. At that time, when she was studying in the 2nd form, that is present 7th standard, she completed reading novels and all works of Shakespeare. As a brilliant student in the school, she secured double promotion twice. While in the school, she was well known as a good speaker, and even in school, she became a heroine for the young student generation as a brilliant speaker. She lived in a thatched house and there was no electricity. And for that matter, the 2 brothers and sisters used to sit and study under the street light located at the roadside near the present Annie Mascarene Square. After completing her ESSLC, she continued her studies along with her sister. In the meanwhile, her brothers discontinued their studies for seeking job. Annie studied her intermediate from Arts College, Travancore. She did her BA Honours and a double MA in History and Economics in 1925 from Maharaja's College, Travancore. After the completion of her post-graduation, she accepted a lecturer post in Sangamitra College in Ceylon in 1925. Further, she went to earn a degree in law from Law College, Trivandrum, with her own earnings as lecturer. After successful completion of legal studies, she practiced law as an advocate in High Court at Madras, not under any senior but all alone, and earned a good name and fame. She became a famous vakil within a short period of 3 years. Later, she returned to Travancore and became a renowned vakil at Travancore Court and practiced for about 2 years. By the time she was acknowledged as a great leader among the common people due to her intervention and indulging in common man's daily need and allied social issues. During the year 1932-33, she became a prominent member of Latin Catholic Mahajana Sabha, member of Srimulam Praja Sabha, member of Hudson School, manager of Hudson English School, owner and publisher of Latin Catholic newspaper. The Travancore State Congress was formed in February 1938 with the main objectives of attaining of responsible government and civil liberties. The Travancore State Congress, constituted with Sri Pattananu Pillai as the president, Sri K.T. Thomas and Sri P.S. Nadaraja Pillai as secretaries. 15 members were added to complete the quorum, in which Ms. Mascarene was the only woman member. It is remarkable to point out that in all, only 3 women members were given admission in the college study, including Ms. Mascarene, as women were not allowed to stay outside or were not brave enough to appear in public. Due to Annie's interest in the freedom movement, she was elected as the first woman member of the working committee and member of publicity committee of the Travancore State Congress. As member of the publicity committee, she toured all over state for extensive propaganda work for Congress. She participated in the All India State People's Conference at Udhampur in December 1st, 1945, and toured many centers in North India addressing Congress meetings and presented a clear picture of the political situation in Travancore. Irritated by her propaganda work outside Travancore, the Travancore government served prohibitory order on 7th September 1945, warning her not to make any speech for 2 months. However, she boldly defied the government repression in the Punnapra Vayalar uprising through her statement made on 9th November 1946. The government detained her for 6 months on the charge of spreading rumors against the government. As the state Congress intensified its activities, Diwan Sir C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer had planned to break its solidarity by adopting all dubious methods. Miss Mascarene, who was serially first in the CP's list, was robbed of all her belongings by Gundas in the night of 29th April 1938, when she and her aged mother were all alone at home. Her elder brother Joseph Mascarene, working in the excise department of the government, and the younger sister Josephine Mascarene, working in registration department, who were staying with her, were transferred to Devikulam and Kollam respectively by CP 1 month before the planned robbery. To report about the robbery with a hurricane lamp as companion, Annie went alone to the police station at Palayam at 3:30 a.m. in the night and lodged a complaint which subsequently turned futile. The incident marked her bold approach and attitude for fighting against activities marking social injustice. She took a leading role in public meetings in connection with civil disobedience movement started by the Travancore State Congress from 26th April 1938. She was arrested in the same year in the month of April for making an inspiring speech at the public meeting held at Travancore on grounds of causing unrest. After her release from the jail, Annie toured throughout the state for organizing women volunteer corps, Desha Sevigas for the Congress. Annie was again arrested at Chenganur on 13th November 1938. She was tried for sedition in 2 cases because based on her speech delivered at Chirangi and Katakada, and was sentenced for 18 months of simple imprisonment and a fine of ₹1,000 in each case. Later, Annie visited Wardha and Sabarmati Ashram in November 1941, and her meeting with Mahatma Gandhi became a turning point in her political career. At Wardha, she attended the prayer sessions of Mahatma Gandhi, and her stay at the ashram also helped her to come into contact with many great national leaders. After returning from Wardha, Annie Mascarene took part in the Quit India movement, and once again she was arrested on 30th August 1942 for making an inflammatory speech at the state congress meeting. She was sentenced to 2 years rigorous imprisonment with ₹100 as fine. In recognition of her active propaganda work, Annie Mascarene was elected as secretary to the state congress on 9th September 1944. On 21st January 1945, she was arrested for making a speech at the state congress meeting at Kuttanad, Alleppey. She was detained under defense rules for 3 months. For the reason of her propaganda work outside Travancore, the Travancore government served her a prohibitory note on September 1946, warning her not to make any speech for 2 months. However, she defied the government repression through her statement on 9th November 1946. She was again arrested on the charges of spreading rumors against the government and detained in the jail. While all others are celebrating India's independence with fun and pride, Annie was celebrating the same in the central jail Pujapara, Travancore. Later, she was released and became the member of Travancore State Assembly during 1948-52. From 1948 to 1952, she was a minister in charge of public health and power in the T.K. Narayana Pilla ministry. She became the first woman minister of the Travancore ministry. She resigned from the ministry on 2nd January 1915, where she strongly opposed corruption practices of fellow minister. She contested as an independent candidate in 1951 general elections from Travancore parliamentary constituency and came out with a thumping majority of 70,000 votes. She was a member of Constitution Drafting Committee led by Sri Ambedkar. The committee had to undergo such much stress and strain when they sat for 3 continuous years to frame the Constitution. When the House sat for passing the final judgment of our Constitution, she had commented on all the then existing constitutions of all the countries, a glance of which unveiled the curtain of her vast knowledge about the merits and demerits of those constitutions. The words of her presentation speech concluded as, "Let us all wish success to this constitution, and let us go home with a feeling that we have done our duty to our nation and to the people," which words reveal her sincerity, satisfaction, and deep-hearted devotion to the work she was entrusted with and she fulfilled. Her speech was so full of facts and information that it deserves to be included as a part of the curriculum of schools and college students of our country, to make them aware of the meticulous work that had been put in by the members of the Constituent Assembly. In the old CBSE syllabus of the history text of our Standard 8, Modern India, on page 234, topic 234, topic Movement in Princely States, the name of Annie Mascarene stands among the prominent leaders of the movement of Indian states. With her photo number 11/16, it is not 16. It is not there now, but she deserved to gain a place in the syllabus of subject history in the schools as well as colleges. When she was a member of parliament, she led a delegation of the largest number of women from India to attend the international conference at that time, and attended the World Congress of Women in Copenhagen, Denmark. They were invited by the Soviet Women Anti-Fascist Committee. In response of the invitation, only a delegation of 22 women led by Annie Mascarene went to Russia and spent a month in Soviet Russia, visiting Moscow, Leningrad, Stalingrad, Sochi, and Tashkent. In the book, Indian Women Look at the Soviet Union, Ms. Mascarene MP, leader of the delegation, said, "We are free to go about the country with the help of the guides. We are free to question in any subject, critical study of the habits of the people and the rights and liberties they enjoyed. Whatever is contained in this book is the true picture of conditions as we have seen them." She was a very good parliamentarian. She actively participated in the freedom movement, led many agitations for social common cause, and courted arrest bravely a number of times. Sum up for a total period spanning 6 years during 1938 to 1948. Her life was in jail. She was a popular leader of Congress party, which always stood for the cause of the poor and the marginalized. She championed the cause of women in public life and became an embodiment of the empowered woman. Her commitment, courage, and determination to the cause of freedom movement of Travancore are highly commendable. She had the privilege of the only member of the South India to sign the Indian Constitution as passed by the Constituent Assembly at Delhi. It is in recognition of her courage and sacrifices made for the freedom movement, Ms. Mascarene is being hailed as the Jhansi Rani of Kerala. In the year 2013, September, a 10 feet tall statue of Ms. Annie Mascarene was erected at the Annie Mascarene Square near her house at Trivandrum and unveiled by the Honorable Vice President Hamid Ansari, as the order seems to be from heaven above. As such honor to this great personality was bestowed to her after 50 years of her demise. On 10th August 1998, Annie Mascarene was awarded with the memento and shawl by the National Commission for Women India. Again on 22nd February 2014, at the Platinum Jubilee celebration of Travancore State Congress, the Congress Committee of Trivandrum district honored the first Travancore Congress Secretary with a memento. On that occasion, many family members of other freedom fighters are also invited. As part of the present generation's honor, a photograph of hers is installed at the entrance gate of Maharaja's College for Women, Trivandrum, where she also had her education. Points again to be remembered about her are: 1. She thrived for the welfare of the common man, downtrodden and marginalized, and especially for women. She stood like a steel wall against corruption and malpractices and social injustice. She did not at any point of time tolerated the princely orders that affected peaceful living of the people or the smooth working of the Travancore State Council, and dared to point a finger against such atrocities, irrespective of state or authority. Her selfless sacrifice on the part of truth, heartfelt love for the people of the whole country, especially for the women folk of the world, made her stand out as a shining example of leadership and hailed as the Jhansi Rani of Kerala, the First Lady, MLA, Minister, MP, and one of the signatories of our Constitution. On behalf of myself and the whole Mascarene family, I take this opportunity to express our heartfelt thanks for the patient hearing and participation to each and every one of the honorable personalities for whom I am a stranger. I also express my sincere gratitude to All India Women's Conference of Zone B authorities and members for giving me this opportunity. Thanks once again to one and all. May God shower His blessings abundantly on all of us and the whole world at this crucial junction. A small presentation.
സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ മാഡത്തിനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള ആനി മസ്കറീനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള ഫോട്ടോസ് ഒക്കെ
The picture which you see in the screen is a modern version of the old picture we had with us in our house, Annie Mascarene. The members of the Constituent Assembly, 24th January 1950, Annie Mascarene is seated at the first row in the 11th position. Annie's home near Annie Mascarene Square, Valdikad, Trivandrum. Some of her personal belongings preserved in her room. The cot she used to sleep. The signature in the list show where Annie Mascarene's signature for the which she signed for the Constitution of India, and her personal signature from a book is shown nearby. Her passport, first page copy is seen. Srimati Annie Mascarene, while working as Minister for Power and Public Health, had a talk with Governor Sri Rajagopal Achari. The statue, unveiling of the statue by Governor Sri Hamid, Honorable Vice President Honorable Hamid Ansari.
With that, we come to the end of Annie's presentation. She has given a very comprehensive account of Miss Annie Mascarene's life and her work. And what we have to remember here is that the work that she has been telling us about related to 100 years back. Annie Mascarene was born in 1903, and all the work that she did during the last, in that century. And it really makes us wonder how she could achieve so much 100 years back. She was known always as a very fiery speaker, fearless, and very outspoken. It is a matter of, actually, we should all feel ashamed that though I am myself from Trivandrum, she hailed from here, and I can almost claim her to be a neighbor because our houses lie in the same locality in Trivandrum. But even I did not know much about her work. So I had heard her work, about her name, but not about her work. And it is really sad that neither in school nor in college were we taught anything about her work. So it was only after I came, and in fact, Annie Mascarene, who has been talking to us, she has been a childhood friend. We grew up in the same locality, went to the same school, went to the same college. And when she retired and came back and started working as an advocate, she was explaining to me all the tremendous work that her aunt had done and how the family was struggling to get recognition for her work in some way. And I'm really happy that all the hard work put in by the family, and I must say that the family alone, without much support from other people, it culminated in the installation of the statue in front of the College for Women in Trivandrum. And also it started a discussion about her work. And when I heard from her about the tremendous work that she had done, I was surprised. I wanted to bring it to everybody's notice. So that is how the idea of starting this series came, because I thought I can start right from my backyard to say, because she is right from here and we should know more about her. And then now we'll be moving on to, there was one more lady from Travancore, Cochin in the Constituent Assembly, Dakshayani Velayudan. In fact, she was the only Dalit woman to be sent to the Constituent Assembly and was part of the drafting committee. So we hope to have somebody to tell us about her work in these series in one of the following talks. And that, as Annie mentioned in her speech, the presentation speech that Annie Mascarene made in Parliament just before the Constitution was adopted, it is a master document which I think each and every one of us must read. It gives in great detail about the different constitutions of different countries and which were the positive points and which were the points that we have taken from there. And it gives a fairly good idea about how our constitution was put together and made the shape that it is in today. So that makes us wonder, when she was the first woman to be elected to parliament from Kerala. In 1952, she was elected. That time, only 10 women were elected to Indian parliament. She was one of them. And before that, she had already become the first woman minister in the state ministry. And later, she went on to become member of the Constituent Assembly. And she won again to the Lok Sabha as an independent candidate, as we have just heard. But in spite of all these achievements and in spite of all the creditable work that she had done, how is it that we have forgotten her? That we are not giving due credit to such a great lady? I wish some history students or history professors who may be in the audience would take up a research on the life and work of Annie Mascarene and make a proper record of what was there. In fact, I mean, there are a lot of things that they could look into. They could look into the debates of the Constituent Assembly. They are all available in the Lok Sabha library. And just one quick glance at on some of the portions, I saw that she had made the suggestion that Sunday must be made a holiday. And it would be interesting to know how that statement was received in the Constituent Assembly, whether there was any subsequent discussion on that, and whether it was accepted on her recommendation. This is just a very small example. It would be very interesting to know what not just Annie Mascarene, but each of the 15 women who were in the Constituent Assembly spoke at the discussions, what were their suggestions, and how much of their suggestions were accepted by the men who were in majority in that Constituent Assembly. So all this could be very extensive topics of study for the history students and even for other people in the country, especially for women scholars and women academicians. So I request that all of you please try to ask your children or grandchildren or your friends or whoever is there in this field to conduct a detailed study on the life and work of Annie Mascarene. And out of the 15 women in the Constituent Assembly, many were very well known. For example, Hansa Mehta, Durgabai Deshmukh. So there is a lot of material available on their work because their work extended much beyond the political scene, much beyond this area of Constituent Assembly. But then there are many others like Annie Mascarene and Dakshayani Velayudan, whose work is very little known even in their own states or even in the places they hail from. So let us take this as a starting point, and maybe AWC can do something to bring out small booklets about each of these women, detailing especially their work in the Constituent Assembly and the discussions and the suggestions made by the women members, and how much of this is reflected in the Constitution actually. So with that, I just make my concluding remarks. Sheila Kakde, our AWC president, is here. Sheila, would you like to say something, please? Sheila, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. And good evening.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. It was very, very nice initiative taken by Usha and Annie Mascarene to give us more information. Actually, we really did not know anything. As Usha said, we didn't know anything about Annie's work. But today we got information by her, by Annie Mascarene, and it was very, very informative. Thank you very much for taking up this topic and making us known all the details about Annie's work. Thank you very much. And Usha's, your initiative to go ahead with the work of the and make known the work of other members of the Constituent Assembly will be really very helpful to all our members, AIWC members, and to know what our ancestors have done for the country. Very good initiative. Congratulations for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheila. I hope
Yeah.
at the central office level also you will take this forward.
Yes.
When all these problematic days are over, let
Yeah.
us put a team together who can go and study the work of these 15 members in the Constituent Assembly, and let us bring out a really notable publication on the work of
Yes,
these 15 women
definitely.
in the
Usha,
Constituent Assembly.
in our library also, we will find some more information about other members of the Constituent Assembly. Definitely, besides Hansa Mehta. Hansa Mehta was quite well known. Her work was also well known. But
Yeah, among the
other
other
members,
15, many of them were AWC president.
yes,
So
yes,
we'll have information about them. And I'm
in
sure,
our
Yutika,
library.
you can contribute a great deal in taking this
Ha,
forward.
hello,
Yes,
Usha ji.
definitely,
Yeah, please.
definitely we will take it up.
Can
Yutika is there?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
Yutika.
wanted to just say one small bit. It's a really nice presentation and so much new information. As Sheila ji also pointed out, we didn't know much about her. That's rather sad and shocking also. And similarly, in our courses also, in the syllabi, since I teach history at the graduation level, we have seen that this name is missing badly. Rather it's rather sad this is happening. Can I suggest one thing that this paper which you have just read, I must congratulate Annie Mascarene for presenting this. Can you get this one published in a small booklet form, or just a pamphlet maybe, and this can be distributed. So let's start from here, and then we can put it in the library. As Sheila ji said, we can take it up along with the other members. One small bit of information was she also was in the standing committee of the Hindu Code Bill. That's what
Yes,
I
she
got to
was.
know.
She was
So
very
she
much
was,
part of the Hindu Code Bill
yeah,
discussions also.
very active all over with the women's issues. And
Yes.
in AWC, we need to take this issue, this person up, and this such personalities, we can compile information on them and bring out small booklets. Not very. Let's not start with and a lot of research also can be done, and this is really good. And I would request Usha ji, if you can print this one and publish it in a journal, or maybe you can ask. I mean, I can help you out in that. This is very interesting, very important information.
Usha, can
And
I
so
add?
what we can do is,
Usha?
I can, 1 minute, Jamila, let me just
Okay.
respond to Yutika. Yutika, I can ask Annie to prepare it in a form which
Yeah.
can be published in our Roshni first. Let us first put it in our Roshni. And
I
then,
was also thinking
for
of that.
making a publication, we need to embellish it a bit with a lot more details that are required. And I'm sure, Yutika, you can help with your students and your research scholars. And let us take this forward. And I would just mention in passing that when I went through a lot of material about her on Google, it was very interesting to find that Gandhiji had written a letter to her in response to one of her speeches. As I said, she was known to be a very outspoken person. And what I read was that Gandhiji says, I know you have no control over your tongue, and you say whatever comes to your mind without mincing words. But I am sorry that you are bringing a bad name to women. But seeing the language, I really doubt whether Gandhiji would have used this kind of
No,
language.
see, Gandhi was such person. Although he was the one who brought forth women into the freedom movement. Remember, he brought them out of the home and all. But he never wanted to disturb the structure. And Annie's works, they are, they are trying to turn over the society. What we are talking today. So she was much ahead of her time.
Much
That
ahead
we
of her
have to
time.
realize. Yeah.
And then,
So
another
today,
thing I saw,
yeah.
and maybe one of the reasons why she was sidelined was that she was very, very vocal in her appreciation of Baba Saheb Ambedkar and Sardar Patel. She believed that Sardar Patel was the one person responsible for putting whole of India together And she
Right.
was very vocal about it. She went around telling this to everybody. And as we have seen from past studies which are coming out, and books that people have written, this could not have gone down well with the authorities in those days, including Gandhiji, Nehru, and others. And maybe that was one of the reasons why her work was never highlighted, and she was
Totally,
never given.
totally agree. That's exactly the case. And you already have so much information. So let's first put this in Roshni, and then let's have a project. We can compile these things and maybe bring out a book in the library in the near future after the pandemic.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. This was so
we'll
good. Yeah.
make a good plan and do something. Thank you.
Very
Yusuf.
interesting.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Jamila, will you say something now?
Yeah, I actually had 2 comments to make. Very good initiative that you're thinking of publishing this as a newsletter or as a small booklet. But one thing I would ask Annie to add to this very objective kind of historical narration is to put in a few, say, family anecdotes or something that would make it very interesting, and which only she can do. No researcher outside would be able to do that. So that's one suggestion I would make when you are making a booklet or a publication of this. Another is, Usha, I was thinking if AIWC could give a representation to the Education Department of Kerala now with all this, and say that her life or part of her representation in assembly or parliament should be made part of the textbooks. So that is one way of making the younger generation aware of the contribution that such a great woman leader has made to society. So that is something AIWC could think of, to make a representation to the government and the higher education department to see that her life and her activities are represented in the text.
Thank you, Jamila. We'll take both the suggestions. And certainly when we are preparing a publication on Annie Mascarene, we'll take help from scholars like you in Trivandrum and in Kerala, who can collect much more material and give us. And Mascarene family will definitely contribute a great deal. And I've already heard from Annie Mascarene a lot of small anecdotes about her aunt, which I'm sure will make very interesting reading and also give us the mindset of this great lady. If anybody else would like to say something. Then
Madam, it was a very interesting session. We came to know a lot about Annie Mascarene. Thank you very much for the initiative. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Usha.
We would have liked to see a good photograph of her, ma'am. Is it possible?
I think she showed in her presentation. I'll just try to show you again.
But there was quite a bit of breakups. We could not, sometimes we missed the talk and we missed the photograph. Some came, some didn't.
No, I have one photograph which I can share with you. This is the one photograph that I can share right now, because we don't have any more photographs right here. This is one of the photographs which Annie mentioned that actually she was leaning on a chair, but it was, somebody has worked on it and made it in this form. And we'll certainly try and get better photographs and maybe circulate along with Annie's article in Roshni. We'll try to get a few
good enough, ma'am. We get a perspective.
Roshni.
We get a perspective that she was a very, a traditionally dressed and oriented person who was still very modern in her views.
Yes, and very strong woman. Being a single woman, she had toured the
And,
whole of India
really
to
achieved.
give publicity to the views of the Congress. And then she had taken such bold steps as defying the ban on speeches and all this, very inspiring personality. We'll certainly share a photograph with you in the Roshni article very soon. Thank you, Rama.
Actually, like Mrs. Kapde was suggesting, I think we should have all the women of our AWC who participated in the Constitution and have a booklet exclusively for them, ma'am.
Yes, but I would
Definitely we
like
will do that.
to
We
be
will
a
do that.
really comprehensive work where, we can engage some students and hopefully maybe get some university to install a chair for AWC studies or something. And these students can go through all the Constitution Assembly debates and see what these women contributed and how they contributed. I think that is very important. Instead of just making a booklet with all the life stories, that is not going to be very inspiring, though of course that itself is inspiring, but we should try to bring out a publication which has much more substance, which is of much more academic value. So let us try and do it. I'm sure.
We can just assign it to Sundar Pichai of Google. Probably he'll have it in a couple of days' time.
No, that is not. We must go. Somebody has to go and sit in the Lok Sabha library, take out all the Constitution Assembly debates, go by page, go through it, and then see what these 15 women said and what these 15 women had, what opinions they had, and what were the decisions taken.
Contributions
That kind
in the
of an
minutes.
academic work we must aim at.
Yeah, kind of a research
Other
topic
things
it will
from
work out.
Google anybody can get, but that is not the level of AWC. I think we should keep a certain level when we.
No, somebody should take up a doctorate,
you
a
are right.
PhD.
Yes, Usha will do that.
Yes, I'm sure you will take the initiative and we'll take
Yes,
this
yes.
forward when these
Definitely.
difficult days are over. We have enough
Yeah.
number of people in AWC who can take it up. So that is not an
Definitely.
issue
We
at
have
all.
some academicians
Yes.
who can take it up.
I suggest that you take it up as a project and give it to a couple of research students who will be able to compile it and then get the matter. And then maybe somebody can sit on it and edit it and make a publication.
Yeah, we can do that. And not only that, from each place from where these women hailed, we can engage academicians from those places as well, because then you get more details about their families, about their personal lives, and what work they did in their own places. So it will be a huge project, but let us hope we'll be able to take it up. Shall we wind up now? Jayashree? Jayashree, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
we can
yes.
wind up now. You can go for vote of thanks.
Okay. I thank all of you who participated in the webinar, especially the All India Women's Secretary and all others. Thank you, Madam Annie Mascarene, ma'am, for the nice talk. And also Usha Nair. Thank you, everyone, for the webinar, participating in the webinar.
Thank you, Jayashree. We
Thank
will
you,
all meet
Jayashree.
again very soon at another webinar. In between, there are many other webinars coming up, but from our side, I think the next one is scheduled for 7th of December, and that is going to be on Sir J.C. Bose, the great scientist J.C. Bose, whose work again lies buried, and we are not very much aware of it. And let us look forward to that. We'll meet again very soon. Thank you so much for participating. All of you, we had more than 50 participants, and I'm really grateful to all of you for participating in such large numbers. Thank you.
Thank you.